Party people, welcome once again to the Party of One podcast, the actual play RPG podcast where the gaming table is always set for two. I'm your host as always, Jeff Stormer. You know Elle from Zerg Games' New Normal and 52 Days on the Ice, which we've played before on the show, as well as a weird hack of the Links Between, which we used for the triple threat match for the Party of One World Championship, which ended in me losing both the Party of One Championship as well as the name Jeff Stormer and title of host of Party of One. It was an eventful episode. The Links Between is a two-player role-playing game about wrestlers in a dog collar match. A match in which both wrestlers are bound together by a length of chain attached to a dog collar around their necks. It is a match in which bloody, intimate violence occurs. It is the ultimate culmination of a feud, both inside and outside the ring. It is about the reaction of the crowd. It is about a point in storyline so full of tension, it can only be resolved through this match, through this particular act of ultra-violence. I love this game a lot. This game is pretty fucking cool. You can find more information about The Links Between, as well as all of Elle's other games, at occasional.itch.io, or you can check the show notes for more information. And with all that said, let's go ahead and throw it over to me in the past so that he can get started with the show. Take it past me. Thanks, future me. I am so excited to be sitting down with Constellation Shulman. Elle, thank you so much for coming on Party of One.
Thank you for having me again.
I'm so excited. I've been looking forward to this game. I've been looking forward to playing this game with you in particular for like a very long time. I could not be more excited. I am excited to get to play this game once again on the show. I'm excited to get this game like in proper on the show. But why don't you take a moment and let our lovely listeners at home know about what we are playing this week, as well as anything else you've got going on that you might want them to know about.
Yeah, so we are playing The Links Between, which is a two-person game, though Jeff has hacked it to be a sick ATV tricycle for an anniversary episode, I believe.
That was correct. It was a triple threat match for the Party of One Championship. I technically still owe Noah a copy of the Party of One title. I will get that. I promise.
And it is a game about a dog collar match, where the, emotional distance between two people and the length of time until the end of the match is represented by, in person, a physical chain of questions, like in a paper chain, and virtually is represented by something equally tense, which is a spreadsheet.
Yes, the most tense digital object, a spreadsheet that we will be pulling from. So yeah, we've played this before on the show, so you know the general deal. We are two wrestlers. We are in a blood match. This is the blow off of our feud. The emotions have reached their peak. We are going to virtually create a paper chain between us in the form of a spreadsheet. We are going to take turns answering questions off of that spreadsheet. And from there, we are going to tell the story of the match as well as the intense rivalry that has brought us to this moment. Yep. So, let's go ahead and create some wrestlers, and then we will, we'll create some wrestlers, we'll take a pause, listeners will not hear us take a pause, but we'll take a pause to fill out our chain, and then we will kick off the match proper.
Extremely bad audio of 15 minutes of mostly silence
dead
with
silence
noises.
Periodically. That's pretty good. That's a good question. So, let's make some wrestlers. I am going to pull up my wrestler name spreadsheet, the most important document that I own. Do you have thoughts on a dynamic between wrestlers that you want to explore today?
I really like a thing where it's the conclusion of our rivalry is either like one wrestler kind of taking the other's place, where it's like somebody is retiring or is leaving the promotion, or a thing where one wrestler is gaining the other's respect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. I mean, I'm going to Jeff Stormer it and say it can be both. I think that's the right approach. Like, it is one of us is retiring, and it is a like. This is a real deep in the paint, pulling on my deep abiding love for dramatic dream team for DDT. For years, there was like a sort of low key storyline where the ace of DDT, Hiroshima, like would not Steppa's, like, seemed like he would not, he kept having matches where he was like, this is the guy that's going to take my place. And then he would beat them and be like, well, I guess I'm still here. I guess I'm still here. So, like, that, I think, is a good vibe of one of us can't walk away until we're certain that, like, someone has taken our place that can hold the company in higher esteem than we did.
Yeah.
Something that can build on what we wanted. And I'm going to pull I've got my name. I've got my wrestler name because this is one that I haven't touched in a long time, and it makes me very happy. It's shown up it's in Doing the Job, and it's in a few other places. I'm playing Bright Lights Rick Broadway.
Uh-huh.
He, his pronouns, Bright Lights Rick Broadway. I don't feel like I need to elaborate on his deal at all. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. He's Bright Lights Rick Broadway.
Okay. Are you a heel or a face?
That's a great question. I'm gonna say I think the dynamic that I'm most interested, the character vibe I'm most interested in is a New Japan Okada. I'm a heel who no longer feels threatened and like I have to be evil.
Uh-huh.
So like somebody like drifting into babyface more out of a sense of like I don't need to prove myself in the same way that I did when I was earlier in my career.
Uh-huh. Now you can just kind of hang out.
Yeah, I have passed the point. It's a dynamic in wrestling that I truly love deeply, which is the guy that's too badass to be evil, where it's just like he's too scary, and so like he's like, why would I be anything other than like a pretty good dude? Like I could beat anybody. It's this vibe of like I had this sort of outlandish gimmick, this like outlandish heel gimmick. And I was dominant in the ring, and eventually, like, I stopped being as openly heelish because, like, I didn't need, like, I can hold my own in a fight, and it has maybe changed my stance and my character approach a little bit. And I think it's interesting because I do think that can slot into either the role of, like, the would-be ace or the current ace defending their position.
Yeah. I think that the would-be ace is Atlas Saturnalia.
Fuck. Great.
I don't have anything else with this name yet.
But you know what? A good start. A good start.
Yeah.
Do you want Atlas to be the ace or the would-be ace?
I think would-be ace.
Okay, so I like Rick Broadway being like I am established long enough that I do not need to worry about anything. And it's kind of I think that this rivalry, like the one thing I will throw out before we write our questions is I think that the dynamic that this rivalry has brought out for Rick is like it's almost like an old Hollywood star, like the next gen, this is my last showcase, and I'm not ready to have my curtain call until I know that like a superstar is taking my place.
Yeah, I've seen the film Hollywood Boulevard.
You know the vibe.
No, this isn't the one. That's a comedy film. The one where there's the woman who's in a mansion basically alone.
Sunset Boulevard.
That one.
Yeah, I like that like Ace Rick Broadway is a little bit Sunset Boulevard of like I am wealthy, I am powerful, and I am desperately alone.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good older wrestler energy. All right, so do we want to, before we develop anything else, write down some questions?
We have to figure out how long the match is first.
Oh, we do have to figure out how long the match is first. Let's see. Do we want to go with... Let's go with a 40-minute match with 60 questions.
Okay.
I think that'll give us a good length of time We'll hit the timer for 40 minutes. That'll slot us right into that nice hour slot, which I think will be a good length of time for the match itself.
Okay. All right. So here's our middle question at 31.
All right. I'm going to color 31 through 60 a light yellow. That way we've got a variance between the two. And then do you want 31 to 60 or do you want 1 to 30?
I'll take 31 to 60.
Tech note, I thought the timer starts when I hit the button, but then I check it a few minutes later and it doesn't, so it's actually more like 43 minutes. With that said, ring the bell! All right, so we've got our questions written out. We've each written out 30 questions. We have mapped them, and in the middle we have the question of who wins the match and how. Now, remind me, do we assign each of these a number? We completely randomize them, and then we put the who wins the match as the final link in the chain, correct?
The who wins the match and how is always the middle link.
Always the middle, because we work from one side to the opposite side.
Yeah, we work from one side to the other. So we are going to shuffle all the other questions.
Yes. So what we'll do is I will move this out of
where. So move everybody over.
So I'll move this up to row 1. All right, we've got our arranged questions. Do you want to start from the top or the bottom?
I will start from the top.
All right, then I will start from the bottom. And the way this works is we're going to set a 40-minute timer. We are going to read our questions, answer them back and forth, ask them to the other person back and forth. That way, the other person will answer them. Our goal is to get to that middle question within the 40 minutes. If we run out of time at the 40 minutes, remind me what happens if we run out of time?
If we run out of time, things are left inconclusive.
Got it. So we've got 40 minutes to get through our 60 questions.
And we can skip questions. You just have to say how you avoid a move.
Right. Which is a great mix of a safety tool and also just a great, we need to speed this along tool. It's a very fun mechanic, and I appreciate it a great deal.
Thank you.
All right. I've got our timer pulled up. We have 40 minutes on the clock, and I will hit play in 3, 2, 1. The match is underway.
All right. What spot did management insist on, and why does it piss you off?
Management insisted that we do a respect spot later in the match, and it was this is going to be really important. We're putting it on the video packages. You have to do it. And I think that Rick is the kind of person to want to pull a no, I want to do that spot because I want to feel that, to share that, I want that to be a genuine moment. I don't want that to be something that management hoists on us. It feels hackneyed in that case. And so that is what pisses Rick off about that move. I think it's one of those the slap spots that we start slapping each other late in the match. And it's I want that to be a genuine moment that happens. I don't want to do that because you told me to do it.
Yeah.
What's the most gifable moment from the match, and are you happy about it?
So a lot of the wrestling stuff that I consume is on Tumblr, which big on GIFs.
Yeah.
Over there. I think that it is a spot that
40 minutes remaining.
It looks good, but it went a little wrong. Things did not work as they were intended to. And while people really like the spot, I am a little mad that the thing that got the most popular is something we messed up.
I like that. I like that a lot. Ask me the next question.
What have you learned from me?
What have I learned from you? You are taking my place. I think I have learned from you. I think you have a way of engaging the fans in a more modern context than Rick as a wrestler from a previous generation is used to. I think there is a level of, it's sort of, it reminds me a little bit of like an MJF style dynamic of like Atlas is always playing the character to a certain extent in a way that like Rick, being of like a generation prior, like kind of turns that off sometimes. And like, I'm kind of like, oh, that's a way to bring forward that like really old school kayfabe tradition into a modern environment. And I think that like, in this latest sort of Sunset Boulevard run, have really taken that and run with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Atlas has some, like, weird occult shit going on. Because that's my favorite thing in wrestling, when there's just a guy who can do magic.
Just magic. Magic rules. Sometimes there's just a wizard.
Sometimes a wizard is here.
That rules. I'm really happy about that. What embarrassing old gimmick of mine do you reference in the match, and how?
Oh. I think that there was a gimmick that you had for like 5 matches in the Indies when you were like 23. That was entirely to get heat, that you had like some stupid move that insulted local town. That there was like, the name of the move was like New Jersey sucks or something.
That's great. That's fantastic.
I do that.
Like 5 people in the crowd lose their shit. Like, it is genuinely, it is very few people notice. It does not even get a gift necessarily, but like the 5 people that notice it have a meltdown. What spot call got picked up on mic accidentally?
Oh. You just asked 2 questions in a row.
Oh, did I? Never mind. Go, go ahead. Go for your question. But think on that.
Where are we wrestling next week, and why is it a pain in the ass?
Where are we wrestling next week, and why is it a pain in the ass? I wrote this question, and I don't have an answer for it, and I'm going to think on it for half a second.
This is what I like about the shuffling in this game, is you write questions hoping you don't have to answer them.
I think that we are wrestling... there is a house show next week. Like, this is a big match. There is a house show next week that is at a, like, it's an outdoor show at like a carnival.
Uh-huh.
And it's the middle of summer. It is going to be hot as shit. It is going to be miserable. And it's very much just like a kind of a house show where we don't have to put in a lot of effort, but like that almost makes it worse because like the discomfort and the inconvenience of getting there and of wrestling outside and of not having padding on underneath us is just a humongous pain in the ass.
It's humid.
Yeah, exactly. What spot call got picked up on mic accidentally?
I think that it is, like, middle of the match, that there's a move that you do that is a little risky, and you want to, like, make sure that I know that it's coming.
Yeah, I like that. I really like that.
What don't you like about your current gimmick, and how do you abandon it tonight?
I think part of this, right? Like, part of this match is that I have been moving away from the evil Broadway star gimmick for a little while, or the Hollywood, superstar gimmick for a little while now, right? Like I have been, it has been something that like has been less present in my matches, and I've realized I just don't particularly I kind of want to be just a guy. I think like I'm finding that I'm having more fun when I get booked into multi-person matches where I can kind of just be a guy. And like, I think that there's like definitely like gimmick touches that I do during the match that I'm dropping here to a certain extent, right? Like there's things that I do as Rick Broadway, you know, Hollywood's brightest, the shining star of screen and stage, that like as soon as the collar goes on and we are chained up, like I'm dropping that gimmick and I'm beating you with a chain because I kind of just want to be a guy.
Uh-huh.
How do I let you down?
Oh. I think that there was a thread that I really wanted to hit in our promos moving up to this match that you didn't. That there was like I had some things I wanted you to hit. I had some like callbacks to things, and you went your own direction with the promos. And like the promos were still good, but I kind of wanted those callbacks.
I like that. That's fantastic. That's really good. Let's see. What's next? Your question is next.
Yeah. What do you wish had gone differently in our rivalry?
What do I wish had gone differently in our rivalry? I think that I'm going to throw out that maybe we're both in factions. Maybe it's a little bit of a House of Black and a little bit of the Entourage. Like I've got a little bit of like my Star Society.
Mm-hmm.
And like this very much turned into you and I in like a very solitary thing squaring off, and like our faction partners kind of got written out of it a little bit. And I think that like I'm disappointed because like I was kind of looking, again, it's that sense of like I want to be part of like multi-person matches and kind of get to goof off with a larger group of like I didn't get to play around with like my friends. Like I have this group of people, we are friends, you know, we have friendship backstage, and we didn't really get to play around in that space as much because this was written into such an important singles thing that like the faction element kind of got left out.
Yeah, you were hoping for some like 5v5 bunch of guys in the ring matches.
Yeah, and like that didn't really happen. What in-ring signal do you miss or ignore?
Oh. I think that there is a spot, there's like I think that we both have spots that we kind of want to do at the same time, and I ignore your signal for yours.
Oh, okay. Yep.
To do mine.
I like that. I really love that. That's fantastic. How
long has it been since our last match together?
Since our last match together, it has been, I think, 2, and I might throw in the surprise question of like how you feel about this, but like to Rick's chagrin, not very long. Like tying into that thread of like this was made into a singles rivalry. Like we have had several, and like they've all kind of ended inconclusively to a certain degree, but like we have fought a great deal against one another.
Yeah.
And so, like, there's almost a sense in Rick's mind of, like, this blow-off match isn't, like, needs to be even more special. And so there's added expectations and also the feeling of, like, yeah, but the moment of us finally in the ring against each other was kind of wasted on a TV match that ended in a pull-apart brawl.
30 minutes remaining.
How does Atlas feel about that fact?
Atlas definitely wanted more space between matches. Just because then you get build up in expectation. And instead it's like, well, Atlas and Rick fought 3 weeks ago and now they're fighting again.
I like that. Yeah, that's kind of, I think, how Rick feels as well. All right, I think the next question is yours.
No, I just asked.
Oh, you just asked how long it's. You're right. You are correct. Yep. All right. What do you say to me? What do you say to me that no one else can hear?
I think that this is near, like, the end of the match.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, like, a genuine, like, thank you for, you know, letting us have this match, and then, like, an inside joke.
I like that. I really love that.
Because I think that it's... Because I want to see if I can make you break.
That makes me happy, because I also know what questions are coming up.
Okay.
Ask your next question.
Yeah. What sign in the crowd is stealing the show?
What sign in the crowd is stealing the show? It is... God, I need to pull out, like, an actual video. It's some fucking video game opinion.
Yeah!
And, like, I think Rick is, like, especially annoyed about it, because, Jeff has 10 seconds. Like, it's a thing in wrestling where, like, when something becomes, like, fun and special and an in-joke in one environment, it starts bleeding out into other environments, and that makes it less special, and that makes it more just people, like, you know, stealing a thing, and, like, that energy is often deflating. Like, it starts feeling less special and more like, yes, I know you saw the thing, like, I get it. And I think that's kind of how Rick is seeing it a little bit, is like, okay, fine, like, we're doing this thing here that is really important, like, you had a chance to do your little bit, now please put the sign down. It's your question now. No, it is my question. I keep getting mixed up. What movie did we watch together last week, and how are we referencing it?
It's Sunset Boulevard. We watched Sunset Boulevard last week.
Oh my god, I sat you down and watched Sunset Boulevard with you, and like, oh...
Yeah, because I'm a younger wrestler. I haven't seen Sunset Boulevard.
I think that Rick, like... Rick is the kind of dweeb that, like, is, like, pointing out things and being like, that shot actually, like, wasn't originally, like, the plan, but, like, there was a set thing that caused this. And is doing a lot of, like, so when I referenced this in a promo, like, this was the line, this is why I said it that way, like, this is what I was pulling on.
Yeah, so it's just, like, been bleeding into promos and matches, but we're turning it up.
I love that very, very much.
What opportunity is waiting for you outside of pro wrestling?
I'm just gonna lean fully. This is leaning into Jeff and Jen's bullshit specifically. The reality show has been doing pretty well.
Oh.
It started out as, like, an accidental cameo on another show. Like, I was just there when they were filming and they wrote it into the script, and, like, season 1 is, like, mostly filmed, and, like, the bits that have been the clips that have been going out have been getting really good numbers. And, like, the reality show is looking promising. There's no guarantee of its future, but, like, it's looking promising. What moment of the match is Tumblr gonna go wild about?
This is very similar to the GIFable one.
That's why when you said that, when you mentioned Tumblr, I got very excited because I knew this question was coming up.
Yeah, so it's that GIF, and then it is also the moment where we exchange some words, and then you smile a little bit because I made a joke.
A lot of slow motion GIFs of, like, you whispering in my ear and me smiling with like, formatted text underneath.
Yes. Why doesn't the backstage producer want you to win this?
Because it's your moment. Like, this is your crown. This is Atlas's crowning moment, right? Like, this is Atlas's crowning moment, but at the same time, this is also like queuing up the reality show. So like, but I think that like the producers and the crew and the other wrestlers, like, everybody kind of notes that this is Atlas's moment to win, right? Like, this is, like, the whole Sunset Boulevard storyline has been, someone is going to take my place and they're going to have to kill me to do it, and you are the person that feels likely to both kill me and then take the spot.
Uh-huh.
What about what spot is particularly scary?
Oh, this has to be a move that you do. What kind of wrestler is Rick?
I think Rick is like a little bit high flying and a little bit brawler. Not like very showman-y, very like sports entertainer-y, and I think that's the general vibe. It's a lot of like build up big spot, you know what I mean? It's not a lot of technical stuff.
Yeah. I think that it's a top rope spot. That Atlas is pretty comfortable on the top ropes, but not super comfortable doing moves with somebody else off of the top ropes. Likes to kind of do a move off the top ropes onto somebody who is on the mat.
Yeah, sure.
And there's this there's this move that somebody did in a show, and I don't remember the show and I don't remember who it is, but it was like a really fucked up flip with two people going off the top rope together.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's something like that.
I mean that I know that my beloved Moonlight Express, Mike Bailey and Mao do that move all the time, where they'll like lock arms and then do a moonsault backwards with each other, and it makes me very, very happy. I'm gonna throw out specifically, I think it's like a top rope Spanish fly where I grab you and do a flip and land, and like it looks horrifying because there's a certain degree of just go with where my body is going, and I promise it's gonna be okay.
Yeah, or Alice just has to relax.
Yeah,
and
just
not
relax.
think about it.
Why were you looking forward to the? Oh wait, no, your question's next.
What detail does commentary not pick up on?
Commentary doesn't pick up on the fact that, like, your gear has been altered with, like, sort of the Sunset Boulevard storyline aesthetic has been a lot of, what I would lovingly describe as, like, curtain patterns on my gear and my robe and things to kind of capture that, like, I am wasting away in my mansion vibe.
Yeah.
And like those patterns in sort of like a gold patterning are on your spooky wizard gear. And like there's this sort of like you entering into my world aspect of that, where like that I think is not picked up on by commentary, right? Like it is, whether intentional or not, like there is a like you are beating me in my own world that is not fully picked up on here.
Yeah, I have like a cloak that I usually wear, and instead of it being like a normal solid color, it is two colors that are very close together.
Yeah.
But if you look closely, it's like a paisley pattern.
Yeah. Why were you looking forward to this match, and is it living up to your expectations?
20 minutes remaining.
This is the culmination of a rivalry. This is me getting to take your place a little bit. And I've been looking forward to that. I've been looking forward to being able to have maybe a little bit more creative control. And while I've loved our rivalry, I also have wanted to do matches with other people.
I like that.
Yeah, it has been living up to my expectations. It's been a good match. What are we going to do together after this match is over?
What are we going to do together after this match is over? I think I am throwing everyone a party. I think it is partially with the reality TV paycheck. It is partially like a celebration. Like, this is a big pay-per-view for us, right? Like, this is a big thing and like a big moment for you. And like I am specifically like, I'm taking us out. Anybody backstage that wants to come, like, we're renting out a club, and I'm throwing us a party. Like, it is very, and it is very much a, like, we are going to cut loose, because once this is a chapter ending for all of us. And so, like, we are going to live it up after tonight. How do you pop the crowd, and why do you need to?
Okay, I'm gonna slide out of the ring to avoid a move.
Okay. All right, then give me our next question.
What spot almost went terribly, and how do we protect one another?
Spot that almost went terribly. There is a spot where you power. Well, actually, what kind of wrestler is Atlas? I should ask.
I think that Atlas, people look at Atlas and they're like, that's a high flyer. And then the Atlas comes in and is a very technical grappler.
I think that you, I'm gonna pull on one of the best spots in a chain match or in a rope match. You are hanging me with the chain, over the ring. But in getting into it, you get excited and you put a foot on the rope and your foot slips a little bit. And there's a moment where, like, I feel your foot slip, you feel your foot slip, and we both just like, oh fuck. And without like a moment of hesitation, I grab the chain and I pull it as hard as I can to kind of like jam your chin into the top rope to give you an excuse to drop the rope so that I can sit down on the apron and be okay.
Yeah.
Like, there's a very real moment where, like, oh, this actually might go as bad as it can go. Okay, eject. Wow. Okay, building on that, what weapon spot goes wrong and how do you recover?
Yeah, there's that one. I think that there's a moment where like a chair comes out and it does not break how it's supposed to.
Love it.
You hit me with a chair and it's just a real hard hit. And I like kind of I sell to the crowd, and then I also like signal to you like, hey, I need a moment. And you give me that moment and play to the crowd too a little bit while I get my breath back.
That's great. That rules.
What is significant about this crowd, this show, this moment?
What's significant about this, we've already talked about like the pay-per-view angle. This is like a big thing. I think this is also, this venue and this crowd is like our home base crowd. And it is very specifically like, it's a smaller venue than we traditionally run our pay-per-views in, but it is very much billed as like, this is our homecoming. Like, this is both one of our biggest shows, and it is a show that we could only run at the place that started it all. Like, there's a tremendous history here, and that is very visible in a lot of the matches.
Yeah.
What else do you do to make me corpse in the ring?
I think that there is like a moment. I think that you come out first. Your entrance is first. And I think that there is a moment in my entrance that is like very much playing off of something that you've done in the past in a way that's pretty oblique to the audience. But I like make eye contact with you.
That's great. And I think, like, I have to do the wrestler frown, which is the exaggerated frown to cover the laugh. Like,
yeah,
there's like, it works. It works very well.
What do you do when the lights go out for 15 seconds?
The lights go out for 15 seconds. I think the lights go out for 15 seconds. I roll under the ring and I grab the chain and I roll you under the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Just as a moment, I think this happens almost immediately after the hanging spot goes wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a moment where I pull you under the ring and I pull you close and just kind of whisper like, hey, I'm good. Don't worry about me. I'm fine. And I kind of give you the sort of loving slap on the cheek a little bit and then kind of roll back out just as the lights turn back on.
Yeah. That's good.
What is your least favorite thing about this venue?
I think the acoustics are weird.
Okay. I love it.
What in this card means we have less time than we thought we would for this match?
There was a there was a 5x5 brawl that ran long because they didn't properly time out the space.
Mm-hmm.
And so the spots they had planned took longer to get into position than they thought. So it just ran longer than they thought, which cut directly into our time.
Yeah.
What was something I did in a promo that crossed a line with you?
I think that you... Actually, I'm going to skip this one. I can't think of anything fast enough.
All right. Here's the next question.
What happens when we brawl where the cameras can't see us?
What happens when we brawl when the cameras can't see us? I think there is a decided moment where I am giving you a receipt in the most direct and correct and furious way possible, which is to say that I grab you when we do the walk and punch move, or got you in the headlock, but I consciously kind of give you a noogie.
Yeah.
I just constantly rough your hair a little bit, just in kind of a way to mess with you because you have messed with me repeatedly in this match.
That's good.
Why did this match get delayed?
Oh, I think that Alice had a minor injury, and this match was supposed to be last month, and then it was I was able to wrestle, but I wasn't at the top of my game. So we had more little low-key matches while I recovered.
Okay, I like that. I really love that.
How did I surprise you during the build to this match?
I think as much as you are spooky, it's been a very serious spooky, I think, right? It's the very genuine cool spooky, and Rick is, for better or for worse, a campy kind of character.
Yeah.
And I think you brought a campiness to your promos that surprised and delighted Rick of okay, it kind of and that kind of culminates in the change in the gear style today of it brought my presence into the match in a way that was very welcome. Is it my question or yours?
It's your question.
What's the laziest trope we fall back on in the ring, and why do we need to?
I think that we
10 minutes remaining.
we fall back on the when two people exchange punches and the crowd goes
the boo yay.
Boo yay. Yep.
In my head I was it's probably going to be the boo yay.
Yeah, it's the boo yay. We fall back on that. Because we had another spot that we wanted to do, but we don't have the time for it because that other match ran long.
Love it. That's great.
And we can fall back on that. We can get the crowd riled up without this, but it's not as good.
I like that. I really love that. What's our next? Give us our next question.
How is your entrance different tonight than it usually is?
I think it's much less dramatic. I think it is. There is, and it selling the gravity of the match. It is considerably more straightforward than it usually is. There's a sense that like this is more of a match and less of a show in a way that like immediately indicates the gravity of what we're doing.
Yeah.
Shit, the table's missing. The table is missing. How do we cover?
Okay, so there's supposed to be a table under the ring.
Yeah.
There isn't. I think that I know that the like timekeeper's table is also gimmicked.
Love it,
and
right?
we do the spot with a different table. We steal the timekeeper's table.
That's fantastic.
When did we first fight? What callback are you making tonight?
We first fought in an indie promotion years and years ago, and in it, I think in it, there was it was one of our gimmicks. It was like a triple super kick thing that is inexplicable. And again, it's me kind of getting you back for doing the New Jersey sucks. Like it's like a super kick, super kick, super kick. And it's like needless and weird. And and again, 3 people in the crowd are like, holy shit. Are you playing to the camera, the crowd, or to me?
I am playing to the crowd. I'm doing a lot of like little callbacks that the 5 people in the crowd really enjoy. And I am playing to you.
Yeah. I love that.
How did you sleep last night?
Honestly, not great. I think that like, you know, at this moment I am very literally working 2 jobs, right? Like I am doing production on a TV show and also this match, like the build to this match. So like not very well. And I think that it shows in the ring by way of like, as we've kind of seen, like I think specifically like I'm a little sillier than I normally would be. Like normally I'm a big performance guy, but like I'm kind of letting it all hang out here in a way that I don't normally do. When did you hurt your shoulder? How does it show in the ring?
I hurt my shoulder. That was the like minor injury. That it was like it was in practice. I was working on some moves for this match, and I fucked up my shoulder a little bit. And I think that is a move that we do not do. That I was supposed to like lift you up or something. And it's like, I shouldn't do that one. How is the chain getting in your way?
I'm used to flying. I am used to like doing a lot of like running and jumping, and a lot of my spots are built around that, and they're just not working now. Like I'm very literally bound and held down by this chain in a way that is like tripping up my ability to do my stuff. What caused backstage beef between us, and how does it bubble through into the match?
I think that it was like conflict over promos and conflict over the build to the match, that it wasn't like a really personal thing. There was a personal professional thing. And I think that it bubbles through because like I don't know how exactly it bubbles through into the match. I think that maybe we're a little bit shorter with each other than we would ordinarily be. That there's a lot of joking, but there's also a little bit more tension.
Okay, I love that.
5 minutes remaining.
When did I start stealing your finisher?
I think it's in the build. I think it actually was in the build prior to this match, and so like tying into Tumblr, spotting little moments and going wild, like it was kind of the foreshadowing that we were going to square off. Like it was a thing that was never like explicit, but like was definitely like people were like, oh my god, that was Rick's finisher. Oh no. Is this the best match you've wrestled? Why or why not?
I think that this isn't the best match that I wrestled. The injury is really feeding into that. It's pretty good. It's up there. It's top 5.
Okay. Yeah, that feels good.
What part of this match makes match reviewers angry?
I think if you are the kind of terminally wrestle brained to like be a match reviewer, you notice that we are both being a little silly. Like you kind of spot the little things, and it's like this is supposed to be like a very serious epic match, and they should be taking this more seriously. That's the thing that I think pisses reviewers off. One of our collars is coming loose. How do you cover?
Oh, I think that this is like after the hanging spot that your collar is a little bit loose, and we had the like under the ring moment, and I think that I fix your collar while we're under the ring, and you're like, "Hey, I'm good," and I'm like, "Yes." Also, I need to tighten this.
Yeah.
Are you ever going to top this match?
No, and I think I'm thrilled about it. I think that this is a climax for Rick. Rick is going to go Rick is doing the ace after you've left the spotlight thing after this and going to be like an uncle. Like is going to be wrestle uncle, and Rick quietly thrilled about it. Rick wants nothing more than after this match to go be oh hey, Rick is here, and get to like do kind of like goofy shit in the ring. When was your last match like this?
It was in the Indies. It was like a show that doesn't have a ring properly. It's like in a bar. It was kind of a mess.
Love it.
Do you need a moment to rest?
I think I'm going to say no. I think that Rick is in good enough shape that he could keep going, but I think that like it's not a physical thing that makes Rick want to like leave the spotlight. Who isn't here to watch the match? Why not? And how does that impact our performance?
I think that my mentor, not my coach, but like somebody who's really brought me up, isn't able to be here. Like they had a family thing that was really important, and that's disappointing to me. And there were some things where like I wanted to do them and I wanted them to see it in person, and I'm like a little more lackluster about it.
Okay.
What moment causes you to break character, and what does that look like?
A fan. I think we are brawling, and a fan brings out a one of those kind of like poster board, like a playbill that they have made for this match.
Yeah.
And like there is just a moment where I grab it, look at it, and I cannot stop like giggling. Like I laugh immediately.
1 minute remaining.
Why is this moment so important to you?
This is like Atlas's big like they have a weird fun gimmick, but they are also able to be kind of serious in this moment and to be taken seriously in the ring.
Yeah.
What have I done that made you gain respect for me?
I think like it truly was, one of your promos leading into this match, like, was just electrifying. It was, obviously you are a talented wrestler, like you are a talented athlete, but like seeing the promos that you were leading into this is what truly like blew my mind and made me go like, this is the person. They are the one that is going to take my spot. Now, I have an important thing to say here. That was the buzzer.
Shit!
Now, the match was set to end inconclusively.
Yeah.
We have 4 questions left apiece?
Yeah.
Do Rick and Atlas just be like, we are bringing this match to a conclusion?
Yeah. I think it's like, they maybe wouldn't if the other match hadn't run long.
Yeah, I think it is truly like I think it is kind of a moment. And I think Rick is high enough on the card that he's like, I think there's a moment where the ref is like, go home, like you're out of time. And Rick kind of just looks at Atlas with a real moment of like, we're finishing this, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I think that I think I wrote one too few questions. I only have 2 left.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and you got, I think, 3. Oh, yeah, you've got 2, and I've got 4. So I think you've got 2 questions.
Can I
correct.
steal one of your questions?
Yes, I may have put one of mine in the wrong spot, so now we both got 3 questions left.
Okay.
All right. I think it is my question now. How much of the crowd is on your side?
I think that it is about 75%.
That feels right.
What nod to a past gimmick of mine do you have in your ring gear?
Past gimmick of Atlas. I am leaning on the name Atlas here.
Uh-huh.
Because I think that before you were a wizard, there was kind of a Roman gladiator vibe.
Yeah.
And I think that there are little tiny, like centurion helmets on the match robe that I wore in that, like, it's the kind of like pattern design where you really can't, when you like, you've got to study it to tell, but there's absolutely a Tumblr post of like your last gimmick in the Roman gear with mine and like a little zoom in on just like a Roman helmet of like oh, that motherfucker.
Yeah. Atlas, out of kayfabe, has like a master's degree in classics.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
And has done a bunch of like Greek and Roman stuff, and their wizard gimmick is based off of like Greek and Romic magic.
Mm-hmm.
I took a class in college about magic in the Greco-Roman world.
I love that. I adore that.
Yeah.
Are we the main event?
I think so. I think we're closing it out.
That feels good. Originally, I had a question that was like that established that we weren't, and I'm glad. I think now it's the right call to say that we're the main event.
Mm-hmm. Are you prepared for the outcome of this match?
I think I was at the start of it. I think that part of me being like, no, we're finishing this, is that like at the start of it, I was like, yeah, this is my goodbye to the main event, right? Like, this is my stepping aside, but like working with you in this match has been so much fun that like now I am questioning like, fuck, like I am going to miss like putting on shows on this scale as much as I am looking forward to like the lightened responsibility of kind of being a side character.
Mm-hmm.
What match outstaged us earlier in the night, and how do we get the crowd back?
So the 5-man definitely outstaged us, because that was the match right before us, and that was very high energy.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things where you look at the card and like as an audience member, you're like, oh, this is fine. And then you get through a 30-minute 5-man tag and you're like, I don't know if I have the energy for the rest of this.
Yeah.
I think maybe I'm going to go to sleep instead.
That's great. That's fantastic.
I think we get the entrances really, really energize the crowd. Our entrances are good.
Yeah, they're big. They are. There's a whole drama that happens in Rick's entrance that like the crowd appreciates.
Mm-hmm. What do you do when the ref bump happens?
The implication that like I wrote this question, and only now that it is the literal last question that we are asking am I realizing it's very silly to have a ref bump in a match that is violent by nature. I think it is. I think Rick calls in another referee. Like, I think it is that, like, you almost got me down for the 3 count. I throw powder into I throw glitter into the eyes of the referee. Referee bumps. And I bring in like a suspiciously buff ref to be like, this is my assistant, and like starts doing like fast counts and things. And like it is peak. It's a side. I think it's the sign of like the full camp side. Like it's a tiny moment, but it's also kind of a transitional moment of like a transitional moment of like transitioning into being fun, goofy uncle character. Like, it's a blatantly silly moment that the reviewers fucking hate.
Yeah.
And that brings us to our final question.
Yeah. Who wins the match and how? We know Atlas wins.
I think you win, undeniably, and I think it is a big, like, it is one of the reasons why the ref was like, you gotta go home, is because if you're a wizard, it's got to involve supernatural shit. And I think that it was like a big supernatural moment, like a oh shit, like a fireball or like an explosion or something that like people had to get into position to execute.
Yeah.
So there's a level of like, stage crew is ready to like push the button and make the thing happen. You've got to like get into position to do it. And we just took our dear sweet time getting into position to do it.
Yeah. Like the style of, in the most recent AEW pay-per-view I watched, I don't think it was the most recent one, Jungle Boy, Jack Perry and Christian Cage had a coffin match, and at the end, the coffin just, like, disappears into the floor in a puff of smoke.
Yeah, like that kind of thing. Like, something like that happened where they're like, we're ready to trigger the coffin spot. Like, you gotta get to the coffin. It's like, we'll take our time. We'll take our time. I like that a lot. I'm going to throw in one final question.
Yeah.
Are we in trouble for running the match long?
Yes.
Good. Great. Yeah, great. I think that like, talk to us. What happens now that we've ended? Is it just that we've ended the match?
Yeah. Ending the game.
Match is over. We run out of time. We describe the reaction of the crowd and describe if we shake hands.
I think the crowd goes wild.
The crowd, I think, I think that there is a sense in the crowd. I think you're absolutely right. And I think there is a sense in the crowd that, like, this was going to be, like, an epic match. But, like, the key difference is that this turned out to also just be, like, a fun match. Like, there were, like, little bits of, like, goofy bits. Like, there was a playbill and, like, little silly things, like, went kind of wrong. And it was sort of a little bit more of, like, a hoot nanny. So, like, the crowd is, I think, like, delighted in that sense of, like, we just watched something real wild.
Yeah. Like, this is a hardcore match, but it was also a little silly.
Yeah. And I think, like, I think Rick doesn't just shake your hand. I think does the handshake into the hug specifically.
Yeah.
And like that also gets us in trouble backstage. Like it is a little bit of a character break moment of like this was important to both of us and I need to give you a hug to thank you for it. And that's our match, and so that's a game.
That's the game.
Fuck, that was fun. God damn. Elle, thank you so much for playing this with me. I love professional wrestling.
Oh, wrestling's good.
Wrestling is really good, is the thing. Thank you so much for playing this game with me. I had a wonderful time.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So, real quick, before we wrap up, where can people find you, your work, and the game online?
You can find the game at occasional.itch.io. Occasional, spelled correctly. Which I never remember how many C's and S's there are.
You can Google the words, they'll give you the correct spelling, and then do that.
Yeah, and then do that L spelled ELL. You can find all my games there. You can also find 52 Days on the Ice, which Jeff has played on the show before, and my creator's commentary on New Normal, the game that I played when I was here last. I remember I saw that dropped recently and got so excited because I love that game and I've been meaning to read through the creator's commentary of it. So thank you for reminding me of it in this moment. That's probably the most stable place to find me right now. I'm technically on Twitter.
Yeah,
but,
like there's
that's stinking.
Yeah, right? Like, this is a weird moment to be recording stuff, because it's like, I don't fucking know where you can find me on the internet. I don't know what the internet looks like anymore.
Yeah, like, I haven't made, like, a co-host yet. I don't have a Blue Sky invite. Yeah. Oh. Follow me on itch.io, and you can get an email when I put out another game.
It's the best we got. My friend, thank you so much for this. This has made my entire day. And for now, I'm going to throw it over to me in the future so that he can wrap up with the show. Take it, future me. Thanks, past me. And thanks again to Elle for coming on the show. That game fucking ripped. That was everything I love about professional wrestling, just put into a perfect encapsulated nutshell. I could not be happier with how that game turned out. It fucking ruled. Also, a special thank you to our guest ring announcers. Thank you all for hopping in at the very last moment to record, letting us know how much time was remaining. That was a gimmick I came up with last night as I was editing, and I was very tickled by it. So thank you again to Corvyn, Zad, Action Shakespeare, Audrey, Val, and Juliet. I really appreciate it. I think it added a lot to the episode. Anyway, be sure to head to occasional.itch.io to pick up your own copy of the Links Between or any of Elle's other games, and be sure to follow Elle on Twitter at occasional. Then while you're on Twitter, follow us at Party of One Pod. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/partyofonepodcast. Find us on TikTok at Party of One Podcast. Find us on Tumblr at Party of One Pod. Subscribe to our newsletter at buttondown.email/partyofonepodcast. And join our Discord community at bit.ly/partyofonediscord. If you enjoy the show, there's a lot of ways to support it. You can support us financially at patreon.com/JeffStormer or Ko-fi.com/JeffStormer. You can give us a nice iTunes review, shout us out to a friend, give us some love on social media. You can buy some Party of One merch at bit.ly/partyofonemerch. Or, if you're looking for more great podcast content, you can check out All My Fantasy Children, which is a character creation, storytelling, and world-building podcast that I make with my best friend in the world, Aaron Catano-Saez. We take a listener-submitted prompt and spin it into an original fantasy character, populating a shared universe one story at a time. You can also check out Yazeba's Bed and Breakfast, which is an actual play about a heartless witch, a cozy house, and the many people making their homes inside. Both of those you can find wherever you get your podcasts. Party of One is, as always, produced and edited by Jeff Stormer and Jen Frank. Music for the show comes from the song Infinite Lives by Mega Ran featuring the D&D Sluggers, and the Party of One logos by Evan Rowland. If you'd like to inquire about advertising rates, coming on the show as a guest, or about press coverage of the show, you can email me at partyofonepodcast@gmail.com. And, unless I am mistaken, that is all we do here. So until next time, thank you so much for listening. Remember to fight the forces of fascism every single day. Remember that self-love and self-care are radical and defiant acts of resistance. And as always, party on, everybody.